All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're not just telling a story, we're building a guide, a seeker's guide to finding portals to lost worlds. And our prime example? Well, it's one of the biggest mysteries in North America, the idea of a lost city deep inside the Grand Canyon.
So let's just start with that big question. How would you actually go about finding a portal to another world? It sounds like fiction, right? But we're going to break it down into a real step-by-step method. We'll use this famous Grand Canyon conspiracy as our blueprint, and by the end, you'll basically have a field guide for your own search.
Okay, step one. This is maybe the most important one for any would-be portal hunter. You have to find the vanishing story. You're looking for an account, a piece of history that was once huge news, but now it's been practically scrubbed from the record. A story they wanted to disappear. And our case study here starts with a textbook example of a vanishing story. We go back to 1909. The Arizona Gazette runs this incredible front-page story, a discovery that honestly should have rewritten the history books. But it didn't. Instead, it just faded away, becoming a kind of ghost in our official history.
So, what did this guy, Kincaid, supposedly find? According to the newspaper, it was a massive man-made citadel carved right into the canyon walls. And inside? Well, that's where it gets really weird. He reported finding artifacts that have absolutely no business being in Arizona. We're talking Egyptian-style hieroglyphics, statues that looked like they came from Asia, all pointing to some lost, world-traveling civilization.
And here's where you can really see the vanishing part in action. In 1909, you have this bombshell report. And then, crickets. Total silence. The story just evaporates from the official record. And today, the Smithsonian, the very institution that was said to have sponsored the whole thing, flatly denies it ever happened. They deny Kincaid, the expedition, everything. Now that is the kind of historical red flag you should be looking for.
And listen, we're not talking about a little cave with a few pieces of pottery here. The original report describes something on an unbelievable scale. A subterranean city big enough for 50,000 people. I mean, just think about the kind of engineering that would require. We're talking about a civilization that was incredibly advanced, maybe even in ways we still don't understand.
All right, let's move on to step 2 in our guide. You've got to learn to read the hidden map. You know, sometimes the biggest secrets are hiding in plain sight. And in this case, the clues seem to be encoded on the very maps of the canyon that we all use. You just have to know what you're looking for. So if you pull up a map of the Grand Canyon, you'll start to notice something pretty odd. Look at the names of the landmarks. You've got Isis Temple, the Tower of Set, Cheops Pyramid, the Tower of Ra. I mean, these names are pulled straight out of ancient Egypt and the Orient. Is that just a coincidence, or is it a clue?
This really leaves you with two totally different ways to look at it, right? The official story says, oh, these were just whimsical nicknames thought up by some imaginative surveyors back in the day. But the other perspective, the forbidden knowledge view, says no, these aren't just nicknames, they're markers, a trail of breadcrumbs left behind on purpose to point to a much, much older history.
And that leads us right into the third and final step of our Portal Hunter's Guide. Find the Forbidden Zone. Once you have the story that was erased and the clues on the map, the last piece of the puzzle is usually the one place where they tell you that you absolutely cannot go.
And wouldn't you know it, that's exactly what we find here. This is the classic sign that you're getting close. The specific area where Kincaid's citadel was supposedly found is now a government-restricted zone. You can't hike there. There are no flyovers allowed, no independent research. When an area is guarded that heavily, you just have to ask yourself, what exactly are they protecting in there?
So there you have it. It's a simple 3-step method for the modern seeker. First, you dig up the story that was buried. Second, you decode the clues they left behind in the landscape. And third, you find the spot that's now walled off and forbidden. Our Grand Canyon mystery gives us a perfect blueprint for how it's done. And what's so wild is that this pattern isn't just a one-off thing. It's not unique to the Grand Canyon. You see the same 3-step pattern, a lost history, strange geographical clues, and a forbidden zone pop up in other theories about our hidden past, like with the Tartarian Empire or lost Denisovan civilizations. It really makes you wonder if our little case study is just one piece of a much, much bigger global puzzle. So that begs a pretty huge question, right? If there is a portal in the Grand Canyon, where does it go? This is where our local mystery suddenly connects to something much bigger and much, much deeper.
See, ancient legends from cultures all over the globe tell stories of a place called Agartha. It's described as this vast subterranean world full of advanced cities and beings. Some people call it the hidden empire beneath our feet, and the legends always say it's connected to our surface world through a series of hidden gateways or portals.
Now this idea completely changes how you look at Kincaid's discovery. Suddenly, that underground citadel isn't just some lost, isolated colony. No, in this view, it's an entrance. It's an outpost, a gateway to that massive hidden civilization deep inside the earth. And the Grand Canyon might just be one of its main front doors.
And what's so fascinating is how this theory echoes the ancient traditions of the local indigenous people, like the Hopi. Their creation myths talk about their ancestors literally emerging into this world from a world beneath ours. And they tell stories of being saved from a great flood by mysterious ant people who took them to safety in underground cities. So you have to wonder, are those just myths, or are they memories?
So, we've laid out the Seeker's Guide for you, using the Grand Canyon as our map. The pattern seems pretty clear, doesn't it? A story that vanished, landmarks with coded names, and a zone you're not allowed to enter. The search goes on, which really just leaves us with one last question for you. The portals are out there, waiting. Are you going to be the one to look,